Hi friends, long time no see, huh? I know I keep saying that, but this time it really has been a long time, and truly for no other reason other than I've just been super busy. And when you are trying to milk cows, move cows, I have multiple sets of pigs, multiple sets of chickens, and a market farm, this one just fell through the cracks. Media content is actually really hard for me. I'm an introvert and easily overwhelmed. So when I'm feeling overwhelmed, something had to go, and it was this. But I am happy to be back, and I'm gonna do a garden tour. It's not this video, I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna show you around, maybe a full homestead tour, shall we? In a coming video, so look forward to that because I'm feeling pretty proud of where I'm at this year. I've had multiple mental breakdowns in between, like feeling behind, overwhelmed, rushed, all the things. But I took a second to walk around yesterday and I'm like, you did it. All of this I've been doing basically by myself. My husband helps me when he can, but he works full time, so it's really up to me. The garden is more my thing. And I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at this year compared to last year. Even though I am behind on a couple things, but I'm always behind on something. Or at least I feel like I am. But today is exciting because I am harvesting for my first CSA of the year. Thinking back, I have more to offer this year than last year, which is also very exciting. But I'm a little late getting out here, so the sun's already out and blaring, so let's get busy because what I have to harvest is like leafy greens. And so I want to get those out of the field before the heat of the day. So first up, I'm gonna harvest peas, and I'm gonna wear my new handy dandy bucket because I can pick in front of me and just drop it right in. And then I don't have to keep stopping to drop them or whatever. This year, now that I'm a couple years in, I'm really just looking for efficiencies. Being efficient is important to me because, like I said, it's just me, and I would rather do something in, half the time or better rather than just wasting away out here. So I don't know the correct terminology. I wanted to say I planted mushrooms, but that's not the vernacular you use for that. I'm not really sure what it is. But I have this tunnel of wood chips walkway, and I thought that I would introduce some wine cap mushrooms, and I did it maybe a month ago. And I just keep looking every day. I know it said it takes 2 to 6 months, but that's a very big window of time, and I don't really know how long it takes. But I've been checking, and so far no mushrooms. So I have this trellis here, which is just T-post and twine. And this is my pea trellis, which is a crap ton of peas, if you wanted to know. I have a hard time. I'm a very all or nothing kind of person. Like, I'm not just gonna do a little bit of something. Like, why would I have 1 cow when I can have 7? Why would I have, all of these things. It definitely translates to the garden as well. I don't do anything a little bit. I jump in, which is a blessing and a curse, We were proposed with this idea that a mutual friend was going to have like a truck, like the trucks that go to like the Walmart parking lot and have fresh meat. He owned previous a butcher shop. So he was looking for an outlet to sell fresh meat, and he wanted me to sell produce. And I was like, that sounds great, because the hardest part for me personally is marketing. Like, if I could delete all of my social media, YouTube isn't the same. I actually enjoy YouTube. But like all the quick connection social media outlets, I don't like them at all. I'm an introvert. I like my peace And if I could throw my phone off a bridge and just escape, I would. But, you know, I can't really do that right now. But anyway, so if I ever disappeared, nothing bad happened to me. I just got to live my dream of tranquility. But anyway, I was proposed with the idea, I guess you can't see me. He wanted me to sell produce, and I was like, great. That sounds great for me because all I have to do is supply it to you and you sell it, which is, in a perfect world, what I want to do. Because I figured out being a business lady in marketing is really hard. But that's besides the point. Anyway, he tanked, like literally weeks after that. He just up and sold everything. And so now I don't have an outlet for all the early stuff that I planted a million things of, thinking that I would need to move it. I only have a very small CSA. I'm going to be transparent with you. I don't even have as much as I had last year, and last year was small. So trying to find creative ways to market in a time in our economy. I mean, I'm sure it's like this everywhere, but definitely like small town economy where I'm at right now, like people aren't looking to splurge on like a CSA membership. Nor do I feel like people in my area really appreciate real food, which is very frustrating. I don't want to put it all on the consumer. Like, obviously, it's a lot of me as well, just not communicating well. But I get so excited about real food and real stuff, and then you think that everyone is going to be lined out the door because it's delicious, and really, like, everybody just wants to eat Doritos and drink Diet Coke, and I don't get it. So I grew a lot of stuff, and there's tons for me, tons for my family. My kids have been eating these peas like candy. I try to put up little Instagram stories. So if you want to keep up with me more on a daily basis, I try to do that. But my son loves these, and he was like, I'm so addicted to these, I can't stop eating them, which was funny, but they are delicious. This is the first time I'm harvesting into the bucket, and it's pretty rad, not gonna lie. And this was not an expensive item. I did get it at Johnny's. It was more expensive. It was like half the cost of the item to ship it, which was annoying, but this was only $30. Which you could easily come up with on your own if you had the time, but I don't have the time to be making my own stuff. My peas are falling over. I think I need to run another string, but once again, don't really have time to do that right now. Anyway, I'm gonna get busy picking, or else this video is gonna be like an hour long. So here's the first bucket. I only did one side of the trellis. And to be honest, a lot of these, I'm having a hard time timing things correctly. I'm either too early or too late. I can't get the dating right, but like a lot of these peas are old because I was waiting on other things to be ready. I mean, I'll still have enough, but I'm going to be processing a lot of peas, it looks like, because a lot of these are going to go into the freezer to eat later. Peas are done, and now it's time to harvest lettuce. And thankfully, I went ahead and grew, because I was trying to grow a lot of Salanova, like lettuce heads to cut for lettuce mix, and all of it is bitter. All of it. It tastes awful. So I'm really glad that I have this patch. This is going to seed. I'm going to pull it out. This is just a salad mix from Johnny's. I think it's Starstruck. Although I feel like I added more kale. A lot of it is kale. So it's going to be just a mix of greens here. And I would love to have a quick cut greens harvester, and I might invest in one if I see the need. I hate to buy things just because I think that I'll need it, and then I don't end up needing it, and then I just have this expensive thing. So right now I have this knife. I got it from High Mowing. Works really good. It doesn't look sharp, and if you touch it, it's not that sharp, but I've cut myself on this and it's very sharp, so watch out. But like I was gonna say, all of my lettuce is bitter, and I cannot win with the warm weather lettuce production. I have irrigation. I bought the wobblers, but they're not in the garden. But I thought that it would still be okay because this spring we've actually had a very good amount of rain. Like, it'll be dry for a few days, it'll rain, it'll be dry, it'll rain, and it keeps going through this cycle. And so I thought that it was going to be okay. It in fact is not okay. It's bitter, really bitter, not even just a little bit. So I don't want to give that to my members. You know, I want them to have a good experience. But thankfully I did this row because a younger lettuce is less apt to be bitter than an older one. And I'm cutting the kale willy-nilly in with it. If you were picking to be picky, you would just pick the outside leaves, but you know, I'm not. I'm clear cutting the whole thing. While I don't like the texture of this lettuce as much, I like a juicy, like a crisp, crunchy, juicy lettuce, which is Salanova. But the flavor is off. This has minimal flavor. It really tastes like not much. But the texture isn't as good. Am I being too picky? Probably. So I'm going to try to give my CSA members a little extra if I can find the time. I want to do recipes because a lot of these people don't eat like me, and I forget that other people don't eat like me. They don't have a whole lot of ideas in the kitchen, so I'm going to try my best to send some recipes with each box. I think that this one, I have beautiful kale. At least I hope it's still beautiful. Last time I looked at it, it was. But a strawberry kale salad, I made that this year, and it is absolutely delicious. I made the salad with like a vinaigrette and some sugared toasted walnuts and kale and strawberries, and it was like, I'm still thinking about it. It was that good. Okay, my salad mix is done. I cut some spinach to put on top. I'll give you a little gander. We got some greens, some purples, a lot of grass, that I'm gonna have to frivolously pick out. Okay, one more task. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I started harvesting yesterday and then figured out today that I wanted to film it. So I harvested carrots and beets yesterday. I'll put a little footage of a funny little carrot that I picked out of the garden that startled me upon seeing it. On that note, I've successfully grown carrots. I don't know why, but that has been such a pain point for me trying to grow on a scale. I can grow carrots in a little bed, like perfect. No issues. But trying to do it on a large scale has been a lot harder than I thought, but I finally got it down. Now I'm gonna go harvest kale. And to harvest kale, I'm gonna harvest it into bunches. And the easiest way to harvest in a hurry, because it's almost noon, I'm going to put the number of bunches I need in rubber bands on my hand. And then I know, because as a person with ADD, ADHD, undiagnosed, I'm just diagnosing myself, and I'm not counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. As a person that's easily distracted, I guess I'll put it that way. I'll do something and then I have to do all of a task. let's go back to my all or nothing mentality. I can't do a little bit. I have to do it all. And so I don't need to do it all. I just need 10 bunches. I can do the rest later or never. It's not the end of the world. But let's go harvest kale. Also, I harvested rapini, like sprouting broccoli. That is my new favorite crop. First of all, it's delicious. It's sweeter than regular broccoli, especially on a homestead scale, just to have stuff for dinners. Sprouting broccoli is where it's at because it gives you more than one harvest. Like a head of broccoli, you'll cut it and then you'll get little side shoots, but nothing extravagant. We've been eating sprouting broccoli for a few weeks now, and it is so good. Roasted in olive oil with some Parmesan cheese. Yum. Anyway, this is my kale patch. It looks great. Honestly, there's very little bug pressure. I always tell people, like, there might be bug bites in your food, but if the bugs want to eat, like when you buy from me at least, because I don't do anything to prevent it, if the bugs want to eat it, then so do I, you know? Nice big kale bunches, because why not? If they don't eat it, it's gonna go bad. I know everybody likes the traditional kale, the blue curly kale. Oh, it's green, but it's blue Scotch kale. I love red Russian kale. I think the flavor is better. It's beautiful. It grows well in my area, and I'm growing it. Okay, I'm back with 10 big, beautiful bunches of kale. As you can see here, now I will give you a little tip. So if you get your greens, this works with greens of any kind and herbs and leafy things like that. If you get back and you've got some wilty leaves, which these aren't super wilty yet, but they would be if I just stuck them in the fridge, treat them like a flower. So if you stick your bunch, you could get that from the store, from your garden, from your CSA provider, if you will. Stick them in a jar of water. They'll suck up the water from the bottom of their stem like a flower and rehydrate and be crispity crunchy for you, like you just picked them out of the field. So if you've got some greens that got wilty in the fridge, if you pop them, cut the ends off like you would a flower, like cut new stems, and then put them in a jar of water or a bowl or whatever. They will suck it right up and be just as good as new. So like I said, I started harvesting for my CSA yesterday, so I didn't get this footage of harvesting beets, but for dramatic effect, I will pull some up for you because honestly, I want to make a ferment anyway, so I'll just take these back to the house for me. I grew all of these multi-sown like Charles Dowding. So as you can see here in my beaten grass jungle, because why do weeds grow so fast? Anyway, it's not hindering the growth of the beets at all, because when they were small, I did weed. So in a multi-sown situation, if you will, not all of them are going to grow at exactly the same rate. Just like us humans, we don't always grow at the same rate. Everybody grows different. So the idea behind multi-sowing is you're saving space and you're having more plants per plot. So I would pull, out of each group, I would pull the biggest one that I wanted to harvest, and then that will leave room and nutrients and water for the others in the bunch to grow up. It's like their time to shine. So I have grown both ways. I've grown single, same with onions. I'm growing all of those multi-sown. I've grown singles and I've grown multi-sown. And while it's true, you do get a larger overall plant when you're planting them by themselves, but I'm not going for like Guinness Book of World Records beets. I'm going for like, this is a smaller one, but just some nice little beets. I'm going for regular sized onions. Now, if I was only growing for myself, of course, I would be trying to grow massive, beautiful onions. But when you're going for marketability, especially, You don't really want to sell somebody a giant onion because it costs the same, unless you're going by weight. It costs the same as a smaller onion. So I would rather just have more of a medium size and be able to plant more in the space that I have. So now I've got a nice bunch of beets that I'm gonna take back to the house and eventually put in a jar with some salt water and ferment it. Now, before I leave the garden, I'm gonna go ahead. My garlic isn't, I don't believe, fully, ready to harvest. It is, the bottom leaves are starting to die back, but really you want about 3/4 of your plant to be brown before you pull it, because the leaves are actually like the little paper coatings that are covering your garlic cloves. And so I doubt these are gonna have papery bits on the outside of the cloves right now, but we shall see. Let's pull one up, shall we? Beautiful. Look at it. I kind of failed in growing garlic last year because I only grew it for me. I thought that I wasn't gonna do a CSA, but it turns out I did. This is beautiful. Nice, big, healthy stem of garlic. And what I'm gonna do is take the outside paper off. This is how I'm gonna process it for people. This isn't for storage. This is for fresh eating. So I'm going to cut the roots off just because I don't want a bunch of dirt in my clean thing. And then kind of like a piece of art, because not a lot of people get fresh garlic unless you're growing it or you're sourcing it locally. So this might be fun for people to see it this way, I think. Beautiful. And smells incredible. I find that crops that grow underground are some of my most favorite to grow and harvest because it's a mystery. So like potatoes and carrots and garlic, especially I love potatoes and sweet potatoes. Those are so fun for me to grow. But like this garlic, I planted it last October or November, had no idea what's going on down there till now. So it's nice to like what you see when you pull it up. That feels good. It never gets old either. You just pull it up. Look. I love it. Oh, this is gonna be a great garlic year. I'm so excited. You have no idea how happy this makes me, because I frivolously went through and I picked through all of my seed garlic and picked the biggest cloves and only planted. I did get lazy towards the end and I ended up planted everything, but a lot of them are only the biggest ones, and it's paying off because I'm pulling out big, healthy garlic cloves. 6, 7. It's amazing. This makes me so happy. This is what makes gardening fun. That one's not very big. I'll keep it for me. Beautiful. I'm so excited. It's like stuff like this makes me want to pull the whole bed up, but I have to remind myself, don't do that. You have so much other things to do and harvest all your garlic right now. Oh, my mouth is watering thinking about this. Like roasted green garlic. Because that's what it's called when your garlic isn't all the way done growing, is green garlic. I mean, this is pretty close to being done, but there's no like dry papery bits on your cloves yet, so you can eat the whole thing. And it's so flavorful. This, I think I'm gonna make like a roasted garlic pasta sauce, because doesn't that sound amazing? It does, it does. How beautiful are these? And I wish that you could smell them, because Like if a recipe says like 3 garlic cloves, I'm adding a whole bulb. Like why would I just mess around with 3? I always like quadruple the amount that you need, but I'm very happy with my garlic this year. I'm not sure if you can tell. But I'm gonna take these things back to my house and I'll show you how I get the field heat off of them. I'm not sure if double stacked is the safest way to drive this back, but what is a girl to do? And I definitely reversed the wrong way trying to talk to the camera. Getting the field heat off of something just means rehydrating it from the shock of being ripped out of where they were growing and now they're in a box. You want to make sure, especially for greens and things, that they stay crisp because nobody likes limp leaves. So I will do a couple different soaks. This first soak, I mean, if I had all the setup that I needed, it would be different, but it's not. So we're working with what we got. I'm just filling up the tote that I harvested in with nice cold water. We have well water here, so it's coming out of the ground at like 55 degrees or something like that. So it's nice and cold, and I'll leave it in the shade, to be honest, just while I'm doing other tasks. And then when I get around to it, I will show you the second step. But for this initial step, I'm just soaking it in water. It's important that if you're on well water, even city water, you should probably test it just to make sure. But we're on well water, so we had our well tested, which is important for anyone, but especially just because we have the veggies that we're washing with our water, and also the dairy girls were washing the equipment in water. And so if you're washing in water that's contaminated or has bacteria, you're defeating the purpose of washing. So I know that we have very low coliforms and low bacteria counts because we had our water tested. But it's always a good idea, especially when you're giving someone a raw product that they're not going to cook, like lettuce, that you have nice clean water that you are washing your product in, because nobody wants to poison their consumers now, do they? And now all that I have to do is close the tops to make sure that none of my freeloading chickens, ducks that want to take a bath, anything gets into my salad mix. And this will be perfectly fine to wait here. To be honest, I've got to do all my animal chores, so I'm going to go do that and then come back and finish the task. But they're getting a nice soak, they're cooling down, they're absorbing water, and this will knock off the initial dirt that's on them. Because we did get a really heavy rain yesterday, and so when you're growing in straight soil with no mulch, like a ground cover, all the dirt splashes up onto the bottom of the leaves. So I've got to double wash these today. Hello, this next clip is coming from my phone, so sorry about that, but I forgot my camera. / forgot I was going to harvest this. But as you can see, I've got cauliflower amongst some weeds, and it's fine. Weeds are fine, you guys. That's mostly a pep talk for me. It's fine. Everything's going fine. But when the cauliflower was small, I planted multi-sown cilantro in the middle of these rows, and it's working out just like I planned. So like I said, I planted it when the cauliflower was small, and now that it's growing up, I'm harvesting it, and it's giving more room for the cauliflower. Not that the cauliflower would just be a bully and push it out of the way anyway, but plus it's getting a little bit of shade from the cauliflower because cilantro doesn't like it hot. And yeah, it's working out great. Splendid. And then I'm just harvesting. My cilantro is not super tall right now, but I'm harvesting into bunches and just bunching it with a little rubber band. And it smells heavenly. I'm sorry if you're one of the people that think that cilantro smells like soap smells and tastes like soap because it's delicious. And if you didn't know, it's a heavy metal detoxifier, so it binds to all the heavy metals that are in your body and helps you flush them out. So be sure to get some cilantro in your diet, unless you don't like it. Then I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. It's later in the day and the time has come to wash my greens, and honestly I'm kind of excited to use my new setup. We found this stainless steel sink with the 2 drainage sides that go in on Facebook Marketplace. This isn't the place that it's going to live forever, but it'll do for today. So I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to hand pick the leaves and the grass that don't belong, and then I've got a bucket beside me and I'll feed them all to the rabbits. I don't know where you're at, but slugs have been awful this year. I've never had a slug problem ever. I guess it's just because we've had a wetter spring, but I hate them. They're chewing holes in everything I love. All I've done is just stuck these right in the water, and I've been grating it as I go, you know, pulling out the bits, checking for little sluggies. And then I don't have a bubbler for my greens. I know a lot of farmers do, but I just don't know if it's worth the investment. I don't do a ton of greens. I'm looking to do more, so we'll see if I need to invest in it or not. Like, this guy doesn't belong. So I'm just gonna kind of agitate it in the water, knock the dirt off. I mean, this isn't the end all be all. People can wash it when they get home. And then I've got this onion bag left over, and I'm just gonna fill it with the greens. Originally, I wanted to convert, I see a lot of people doing this. You convert an old washing machine into a salad spinner. But at this season of my life, I don't even have 5 minutes to dedicate to anything other than what's already on my plate. So I figured it's better to just buy convenience. Although I overfilled this bag and now it won't fit into the center. This is a spin dryer for clothing that I bought off of Amazon. Have I used it yet? No. So I don't really know if it's going to work. I will put the link for this in the description, just in case you're trying to dry your salad greens and you've got more salad greens than will fit in a household salad spinner. I mean, this wasn't cheap, but it wasn't super expensive. Let's see if it works. Is it plugged in? Because that helps. Nope. No, it's plugged. Ooh. And just like that, we have dry lettuce. I also upgraded my scale this year. I have an actual produce scale that, if I needed it to, would convert the weight to the price. But I don't need that right now. And just like that. I'm like a real professional now. I've got real stuff. I should have printed stickers to slap on it, but I don't have that right now. Okay, it's quite a bit later than when I started packing this stuff, because somehow every year I forget how long this takes, but I was going to go ahead. I've got deliveries going out. Like, my husband takes some with him on his way to work, and so I'm packing those now, and I'll pack the rest tomorrow. But I wanted to show you what was going in my CSA box. We've got a dozen eggs, beautiful colors, as always. Then, in these cute little things, I was going to pack the peas in here. But then I got up here and I was looking at them. I guess I could see more than when I was in the field harvesting them, and they just don't. They're like past their prime. And so I only want to give out stuff that I feel good about, and I didn't feel good about it. So I'm just going to process them all, I guess. But, so in lieu of the peas inside my little container, I've got the bunch of cilantro and microgreens. So I've got a replacement. It's going to be okay. And they're pea shoot microgreens, so it kind of goes along with pea theme anyway. We've got our big bunch of red Russian kale. We've got a bunch of carrots. I feel like it's fun because nobody gets to see carrots with the tops attached usually, and so that's fun. Next is a bunch of beets, one green garlic, and salad mix. Until I market my CSA, as the season goes on, you'll get more and more in your box, just in case in the beginning of this. So, this is my first CSA of the year. It feels good. I feel accomplished, but now I'm tired. Mostly mentally. But I'm gonna get all of this packed away and ready to go, and then I still gotta make dinner. So, the life of a business owner. So, sorry I've been absentee, but your girl's been busy, okay? I hope to be posting lots more videos and a really super duper long garden tour. So, thank you guys for watching. Until next time. I made an oopsie. I kept feeling like I was forgetting something. And then I opened the refrigerator. I forgot that I had all of this rapini broccoli that needs to go out. Yes, it still has flowers on it. I'm not even going to take it off. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that was in the box too.